Testing. Oh, yeah, there I am.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are so happy that you are here with us. My name is Anderson Manuel, and I am your Gospel Choir Ensemble Director, or whatever role you need for me to fill. I am so happy to be here with you. Please stand up and join us as we sing number 368, Now Let Us Sing.
We'll start with the low part, which is at the top, and then Anderson's going to lead that high part, and of course the words are all up there, so let's get going. Now let us sing, 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 now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid, now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing, 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 now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, don't be afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. To the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
Good morning. Oh, friends, this is my last time getting to do this. I need a little more of a good morning than that. Let's try that again. Good morning. Good morning! Whether you're here in person, joining us online, or watching later on YouTube, welcome to First Parish in Concord. For the last time, I'm Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd, your interim senior minister. My pronouns are he, him. Also, Arcady, I'm really hot. Can you pull down the sound on me a little bit? I'm reverbing.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. If you're online, please feel welcome to participate fully in the chat. If you're here in person and have questions about accessibility or the building, please see our ushers or any worship leader. Masks are optional throughout our building, including in this space. We continue to use enhanced ventilation and encourage masking to keep our communal spaces safe for everyone. I invite everyone present now to turn and wave to those folks who are joining us online. However you are joining us this morning, thank you for coming. We are glad you are here. Our announcements. After the service, we have our worship sharing Smirkle, there we go. Our worship sharing circle. Small group conversation about the service theme in the Brooks Room in person and on Zoom. We also have coffee hour, a less structured way to connect. If on Zoom, you can stay on after the service, and in person, you can get your coffee in the kitchen and mingle in the parish hall. Our standing committee rep this morning is supposed to be Jen Izzo. Is Jen here? Oh, Virginia Taylor is subbing for her. So if you have any questions about the church or our governance system or life in general, Virginia will have all your answers. Also, after the service today, I hear there's going to be a little get-together to say goodbye to someone in the parish hall. All right, that's me. Come say goodbye. And don't forget to check out your Sunday announcement sheet, as there is a lot going on at First Parish worth knowing about. And now, Beth has one final special announcement for us.
It's a special day in that we're saying goodbye to Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd. It's also a special day in that his son, Theo, has a birthday. And so, Theo, do you want to come here? And can we sing you happy birthday? Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Theo. Happy birthday to you. You're singing wonderfully this morning, so let's keep singing and sing our opening hymn, which is number 1000. Morning has come, the words will appear, and I need to get over to the piano, and Anderson needs to get to the drums.
Good morning. We gather this morning as we do each week to meditate and mourn, to sing and to celebrate together. On this particular day, we gather to celebrate the successful interim ministry of Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd, and it is in this spirit that I call upon the abiding love that is around us and in us to be with us this day as we celebrate and honor this time that we have shared together. We are grateful that you are with us this morning. And I invite you now to join in our chalice lighting. O flame of our faith, open our hearts and fill our bodies and souls with persistent strength. Enliven our spirits and encourage us deeply in this life of ours, this sacred essential moment.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Amy Friedman. I serve as your Minister of Religious Education. And one of the things Anderson's been asked to do today is to offer our wisdom story with me this morning. And I'm so grateful you said yes. I know, it's so great. That's a great thing about Anderson. Not all people always say yes, Anderson. This book is, I recommend to you, it's written by author and activist Cleo Wade. It's called What the Road Said. Anderson will be the road. Have you ever wanted to go in a different direction? Have you ever wondered if there was something more, something out there, something just different? I did too. Then one day I was walking my usual way home when out of nowhere, for no reason at all, as if it were magic, a road appeared. I couldn't believe my eyes, so I walked over to it and I said to the road, "Where do you lead?"
The road said, "Be a leader and find out."
How do I start?
The road smiled and said, "You have already started."
Well, what happens when I get there?
"We have just begun," said the road. "Do not skip straight to the ending. Enjoy the beginning and the middle too."
Which way do I go?
"This is your choice to make," said the road.
But what if I go the wrong way?
"Do not worry. Sometimes we go the wrong way on our way to the right way."
What if I get scared?
"That is okay. You are brave," said the road.
But what does it mean to be brave?
Being brave is when you are afraid of doing something, but you do it anyway. Do not let what scares you keep you from continuing on your path.
Will I always move forward?
"Not always," said the road,
Why not?
"because sometimes you will stumble backward and sometimes you will stand still."
What if I fall?
"Everyone falls at some point," said the road, "but I will always be there where you land."
What if I get lonely?
"You are never alone," said the road.
What if I need help on my journey?
"Ask your fellow travelers along the way."
What if they're mean to me?
"Lead them with kindness," said the road.
How?
"By being kind."
But what if they want to fight?
"Lead them to peace," said the road.
But how do I lead them to peace?
"By listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you are all on this journey together."
What if the world around us is full of hate?
"Lead it to love."
How?
"By sharing the power of your love with it," said the road.
What if something unexpected happens?
"Keep going."
What if there are mountains that feel too tall to climb? What if there are rivers that feel too wide to cross? What if I get my heart broken? What if I feel stuck? What if giving up is easier?
"Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going," said the road.
What if I can't do it?
"You can, because you have come this far," said the road.
I said to the road, "Where do you lead?"
the road said, "Be a leader and find out."
This is one of those stories that we don't say the end. We say it's only the beginning. I'm glad to have been on this journey with Reverend Seth Carrier-Ladd, and I wish you well wherever the road takes you, and also your family, who's been a part of our religious education program for 2 years. We are going to miss you, and in this small UU universe, I know our paths will cross again. So it is farewell until next time. Today, all of our young people are going to be going up to the Emerson Room. We decided that would be the best place for us to paint beehives today. We want your creative designs to create a place that bees can see, because you may not, I just learned this yesterday from Rosalind, who's our leader in this project. Bees, when you are wearing white, this is why beekeepers wear white, the bees just see a shimmer. It's like you're a spectral image to them. And so we're going to put some bright colors on the beehive so they can find their journey to this new home that we're creating for them. If you have little ones, preschoolers, they may go down to the little RE space, which is in the Milldam Nursery School. And please sing us on our way.
At this time in our service, we invite you to give generously to the work of this congregation and to our shared plate. Each month, we share our collection with an organization that is recommended by a member of our congregation or friend of our congregation. And in the month of June, for Pride Month, we celebrate and share our plate with Greater Boston PFLAG, Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. Their mission is to advocate for and advance equality and societal affirmation of LGBTQ people by building and strengthening loving families, safe communities, and a diverse and inclusive society. PFLAG is a safe haven for families wanting to understand a loved one who identifies in these ways, and to also understand their own pathway through to understand how to come out to other family members themselves. So we invite you to contact PFLAG. If you have a loved one and you're struggling with understanding their path, I encourage you to contact PFLAG, and there you can find support. We thank you for your generous contributions this morning.
Our reading this morning is an excerpt from Returning to the Sea by Catherine Sengis. And hopefully our resting slide will be able to make a little more sense once we're done. Catherine Sengis wrote, "My son's first college roommate was the son of a harbor pilot in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I was intrigued by that role. A harbor pilot comes aboard sea vessels to aid in navigating dangerous, unfamiliar, or congested waters. They lend expertise and experience specific to the navigational situation at hand. Imagine you are the captain and crew of a large and sophisticated ship, wary of obstacles under the surface or in the dark that you may not easily be able to see, unfamiliar with the channels and relying on maps and markers. A pilot comes on board who knows these waters well and is eager to help you have a smooth passage. But it is not the pilot's ship, and you know that the time the pilot will spend with you is fairly short and focused. An interim minister, it seems to me, is quite a lot like a harbor pilot. A congregation finds itself coming into a time between settled ministers. An interim minister comes on board to aid in the navigation of that temporary harbor. It's a time of reflecting, retooling, provisioning, and staffing for the next sea adventure. Navigating the interim time is a partnership between the vessel's crew and the harbor pilot, and their mutual success is ultimately a function of communication and trust. After a couple of years, they may settle into a route together. I think that's supposed to say routine, a routine together. They come to know what to expect of each other. Life together becomes comfortable, predictable, almost enough to make the impending change of ministry feel uncomfortable. Almost. I came across the perfect quote to describe this situation. When I hunted for the author, I discovered that the words seemed to be attributed to several people, which simply means that the point is blindingly obvious. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. As every interim minister knows, serving as a harbor pilot is a privilege, and it has never been the interim minister's ship. The time does come to wish the congregation fair winds and many blessings on the journey ahead." Here ends our reading. Friends, the metaphor of interim minister as harbor master and the church as a ship navigating the harbor is apt in so many ways. Hopefully, I was able to offer you all some specific local information and wisdom about the work of interim ministry that has prepared you to set out back to sea with Reverend Jennifer. And yes, this was indeed not your typical journey into the harbor. Harbors usually offer calm waters and relatively smooth sailing. The past 2 years, while not as challenging as the first 2 years of the pandemic, have been far from calm and smooth. While the harbor was no longer experiencing the hurricane of pandemic quarantine period, we still felt the rough and choppy waters. It feels like a long time ago now, but we were still all masked all the time when I arrived. The waters have calmed considerably in the 2 years we've been together, but there was still more navigating of challenging waters than your typical interim experience. But then nothing is typical anymore. What has been typical about the interim experience is our shared knowledge of the arrival of today. Specifically, you and I, we have always had the safety blanket of my departure to fall back on. If you didn't like something I said, or a position I held, or a change I made, it's been easy enough for you to think, consciously or subconsciously, well, Reverend Seth is only going to be here for another 2 years, or 1 more year, or 6 months. I'll outlast him, and then we'll see about that change he made. And indeed, if you are here today, congratulations, you have outlasted me. Which is great news for the health of the church. My always impending departure made things much easier in some ways. If we had a disagreement, or you didn't like part of how I did my job, or you didn't like my sermons, it's much easier to let go since I'm only here for 2 more years, 1 more year, 6 more months, just this one last Sunday. What you will begin with Reverend Jennifer in August, though, will probably be harder. It will probably be harder because if Reverend Jennifer does something you disagree with, or forgets an important detail of your life, or says something that rubs you the wrong way, it'll probably be harder to just move on and let go, because she's hopefully going to be here for a long time as your minister. It will also be harder because the honeymoon period will probably end at some point. Most newly settled ministers enjoy a honeymoon period, the first year or 2 or 3 if you're lucky, where everything is great and everyone or almost everyone likes you and things are good. For a lucky few, the honeymoon never ends. For most settled ministers in their congregations, though, the honeymoon ends. Similar to what often happens in a marriage after several years, the traits that were adorably quirky become frustrating to live with over time. The way the minister chooses to end the prayer every Sunday starts to grate in years 3, 4, and 5. Things get a little harder. One of the blessings of interim ministry, unless there's some really difficult work to undertake, is that we mostly get to live in the honeymoon period. I'm not sticking around long enough for some of you to really start getting annoyed with me. I also know that I managed to annoy a number of you. I'm aware, don't worry. But the larger point remains. It's usually harder to sustain relationships in the long term compared with the short term. And so I've got a few things I'm going to suggest you do to help your longer term relationship with Reverend Jennifer flourish. First among them, take the time to get to know her, especially if you feel like your relationship has gotten off on the wrong foot, and even if it hasn't. I only have anecdotal evidence in my own experience to back this up. But I think a lot of how congregation members experience sermons has to do with their relationship with the minister. Generally speaking, it has been my experience that if you like the minister personally and feel like you have a good relationship, that most of the time you generally like their sermons. And that if you have a frosty or distant relationship with the minister, more often than not, you're not going to like the sermons. And so the anecdotes are just from my own life. Both my father and a close friend at different points have mentioned to me that they weren't so sure they liked the sermons of the new minister at their UU church. And I asked them both if they had a chance to sit down and grab a cup of coffee with the new minister, and they said no. I said, why don't you try that? And lo and behold, after they did it, the sermons magically got better. Again, anecdotal evidence, and not guaranteed to work every time, but worth a shot anyway. Building a relationship with your new minister will probably be good for both of you. even if it doesn't make you like her sermons any better, but especially if it does. And also, I will note, with over 500 of you, you all aren't going to be able to have coffee with Reverend Jennifer right away. But you're smart, capable people. I trust you can find ways to connect. So that's the first one. The second thing I suggest to you, in fact, more than suggest, I'm imploring you to communicate any concerns you have about Reverend Jennifer or things she has said or done directly to her. Complaining to other members of the community just creates tension and dissent. Passing along your concern to a standing committee member is better, but still keeps you separated from the resolution of the problem. It will be so much better, if you can, to approach Reverend Jennifer directly and have a conversation with her about your concerns. Take a friend or a pastoral care associate with you for support if you need to. But talking to her in person will help her to hear your feedback directly and allow her to ask clarifying questions so she can better understand you and your concerns. It will also hopefully offer both of you the opportunity to repair your relationship if need be, or simply deepen it if not. Also, please keep in mind, if you do have any of these conversations, that being heard and having her do exactly what you want are not the same thing. Reverend Jennifer or the standing committee or any authority or figure or group can hear you and still choose to do things differently. The fact that we don't always get what we want is one of the challenges of living in community. Third, I implore you to treat Reverend Jennifer well. And of course, by this I mean relating to her with respect and thoughtfulness, caring and kindness. And I also specifically mean a few things. We've already talked about communicating with her directly. I also hope that you can honor and respect her as your minister, even though she's a woman, and not be sexist. Now, most Unitarian Universalists respond to statements like this by saying, "Oh, we would never do that." Except that, as I know from conversations with my colleagues, many of you, meaning members of Unitarian Universalist congregations, have done exactly this to female-identified ministers over and over again over the years, and not just a long time ago, sadly, even recently. So be wary and be mindful. I've had more than one female colleague share the story of a member of a congregation patting them on the head. Please don't do that. I mean, you hope you don't have to say these things, but this happens, right? So, this is why we're doing this. Also, please do not comment on her clothes or her appearance. At all. Just don't do it. I've been here 2 years, and you all have commented on my clothes exactly twice. Once when I bought a new suit and missed cutting off one of the 35 tags that it came with. And once when we were doing a service on imperfection and I intentionally wore mismatched shoes. So, yes, if Reverend Jennifer wears a new suit and misses a tag, feel free to helpfully point that out. And yes, if she intentionally wears mismatched shoes for a service, you can verbally appreciate that. Otherwise, just don't. Congregations don't usually talk about their male minister's appearance, so don't talk about Reverend Jennifer's. End of story. And finally, on the sexism front, please take Reverend Jennifer just as seriously as you would me or another white, cisgendered, heterosexual man. A pair of Unitarian Universalist ministers served as co-ministers at a church in the greater Boston area a decade ago. One of them, a white, cisgendered, heterosexual woman, one white, cisgendered, heterosexual man, both middle-aged. And it was remarkable to them how the male minister could just make a statement to the board or to the congregation, and it was accepted as true. Whereas if the female minister did the same thing, she was asked for citations and proof and supporting evidence. Please, treat Reverend Jennifer with the respect she deserves. Now, it may seem odd to some of you that in this, my final sermon, I've spent so much time making suggestions for your relationship with your next senior minister, but it highlights the nature of my job. My job has not been, and even now is not, to be prioritizing my relationship with you. My job as interim, even in this moment, is to be prioritizing helping you to be as prepared as you can be, to help the congregation be as prepared as it can be, to try to make your next settled ministry a success. That being said, I think I've said all I have to say on that topic for now. And our relationship, my relationship with you, even if it's not the highest priority, is still a priority, and it's important. And so I do have a few things to say as I say goodbye. The first thing I want to share is that I am tremendously grateful for our time together. As some of you have heard me say before, it wasn't until I have been here with you in a larger congregational system that I've experienced my full range of gifts and skills that I bring to ministry being utilized. It's truly been a joy for me to come to work with you every day. I have been energized and excited about ministry and my time serving with you. And that energy and excitement is also not just because of the size of the congregation. You all are a fantastic group of people. I have seen your kind and caring hearts as you negotiated community life with me and with each other. I have seen your grieving hearts as you mourned the loss of Reverend Howard, and I have seen your forgiving hearts as you let go of anger and hurts from your relationship with him. I have seen your passionate hearts as you continue to stand up and fight for what is right in this hurting world. I have seen your resilient hearts as you navigated through the post-quarantine pandemic together, feeling the hard feelings when needed and navigating the trauma we all experienced. I have seen your generous hearts as you have increased your giving in the 2 stewardship campaigns undertaken in my time with you. I have seen your loving hearts as you have loved each other and have loved me. Thank you for these and so many other gifts you have shared with me. Our second anthem this morning, I Am Willing by Holly Near, which you will hear in just a minute, is one of my favorite songs ever, if not maybe my actual favorite song. It represents to me what I understand my journey of life to be about, to be open and willing to growth and change and evolution. Thank you for being open to me in my ministry, and for being willing to learn and grow and change alongside me these past 2 years. While we are each heading off into our own next adventures at this point, know that I will always carry you, your spirit, and your love and kindness with me in my heart. Finally, let me just say, my dear friends, that I have hope. I have hope for the future of Unitarian Universalism, and I have hope for you all, First Parish and Concord. As one of my favorite hymns says, we will get there, heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. The future is not certain, and of course, much depends on the choices that you make, that I make, that we Unitarian Universalists collectively make. And I have faith in us, and faith in you. If you want to, if you are willing to put in the hard work that will sometimes be necessary to navigate our ever-changing and increasingly frequently changing world, I do indeed have faith that you and we will get there. And that collectively, as a faith tradition, we will figure out who we want to be and what we need to do to meet the challenges of our times in such a way that people are excited to join and become part of this community and Unitarian Universalist communities everywhere. And so, my good friends, my dear friends, with that, I say goodbye and farewell. Farewell truly in the sense of I hope you fare well, that I hope things go well for you, as I wish you nothing but the best. I am excited for you as you move into this next phase of your life as a congregation, and I am grateful for the past 2 years that we have spent together. I will always hold a warm place for you in my heart. I will always smile when looking back at our time together. I will always be glad to have been your companion on the journey these past 2 years. I love you. I will miss you. Take care, and truly be well. Amen.
Each week we gather in service to a purpose larger than ourselves, to share and to learn together. And as part of our care for community, we receive the joys and concerns that you share with us, both virtually and here in person. And we hold each other with open hands. This week, we hold in our thoughts and prayers Linda Reynolds, who is at rehab at Concord Park, recovering from a fall. We send her our thoughts and our prayers. Several people have asked about Liz Weber. She continues to slowly improve, and we'll definitely continue to update you as we have any changes. For now, we invite prayers and well wishes as she continues her recovery. Seth's mother-in-law, Peggy O'Connor, was diagnosed with cancer just yesterday. We offer a prayer for her family as they face what comes next. Sid, Rhonda Miller's daughter, informs us that Rhonda has moved to Briarwood in Needham. She's settled in a good routine and likes the people there. She can be contacted at Briarwood Rehab and Healthcare Center, and we can get you that address if you need it. Mary Anderson has pneumonia, and we send her our thoughts and prayers for a quick recovery. And in this collective space, I invite you to speak aloud the names of those you hold in your heart today, that we may share with one another what we carry in our hearts. For all of these connections and for our interdependence, we are grateful for one another in this community, and we hold in our hearts all those who have yet to find a community of belonging and care. May they find love. May they find peace. And I invite you now into a reflection with this meditation from a selection from John O'Donohue's book, To Bless the Space Between Us. This is a piece about thresholds. He writes, though we know one another's names and we recognize one another's faces, we never know what destiny shapes each life. The script of individual destiny is secret. It is hidden behind and beneath the sequence of happenings that is continually unfolding for us. Each life is a mystery that is never finally available to the mind's light or questions. That we are here is a huge affirmation. Somehow life needed us and wanted us to be. To sense and trust this primeval acceptance can open a vast spring of trust within the heart. It can free us into a natural courage that casts out fear and open up our lives to become voyages of discovery, creativity, and compassion. No threshold need be a threat, but rather an invitation and a promise. Whatever comes, the great sacrament of life will remain faithful to us, blessing us always with visible signs of invisible grace. We merely need to trust. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen.
I am the calm in the eye of the storm. Come to center. I am the calm in the eye of the storm. Take your rest. I am the calm in the eye of the storm. Come to center. I am the calm in the eye of the storm. You
We invite you all now to join in a ritual of farewell, led by our governing board. That is the correct term now, right? Governing board? All right. President Gib Metcalf. This is a responsive ritual, and it's a little bit formal. The congregation's part will be on the slides. A more informal opportunity to say goodbye will happen during the party at coffee hour for Seth. We thank you all for participating in this ritual.
How are we doing? Should I come up here?
Yeah, come on up here.
You have your mic? I'm Gib Metcalf, chair of the governing board, and it's my privilege to be part of this ritual with you, Seth. Our church family is constantly changing. People come and go. Children are born, children grow up. People commit themselves to one another. Loved ones and friends among us come to the ends of their lives. Individuals move into our community and church life. Others leave us, moving away to new places, new experiences, and new opportunities. So it is important and right that we recognize these times of passage, these transitions, these endings and beginnings. On August 1st, 2022, this congregation hired Reverend Seth Carrier Ladd to serve as our pilot, or as our interim senior minister.
Arkady, will you put the word? There we go. Thank you. I thank the First Parish, its members and friends, for the love, kindness, and support shown me these last 2 years. I ask forgiveness for the mistakes I have made. I am grateful for the ways my leadership has been accepted. As I leave, I carry with me all that I have learned here.
Please join us in all saying, offer forgiveness and accept that you now leave to minister elsewhere. We express our gratitude for your time among us. We ask for forgiveness for our mistakes. Your influence on our lives will not leave us at your departure.
I forgive you and accept your gratitude, trusting and knowing that our time together and our parting are all part of life's evolution and our interim process.
Do you, the members and friends of First Parish, release Reverend Seth Carrier Ladd from the duties of interim senior minister? Do you offer your encouragement for his next ministry, serving the Winchester Unitarian Society? Do you, Reverend Seth Carrier Ladd, release this church from turning to you and depending on you?
I do.
Do you offer your encouragement for the continued ministry here and on the relationship with another who will come to serve?
Yeah, I do.
We give thanks for the moments we have shared with Seth in worship, in learning, and in service, and we pray that his journey will be safe and meaningful as he moves to a new and, well, unknown place, but it is Winchester.
It is
that you're
Winchester,
going.
yes.
So this ends our formal ritual of farewell, and I just really want to encourage everyone to come down to coffee hour. We have cake, we have other refreshments, there will be a big card to sign, and the governing board, in one of its inaugural acts, will embarrass itself in a way that you'll see as well. So do come down and join us after that. So thank you, Seth.
I forgot to look what was coming next. All right, closing words. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Man, I don't have closing words. Usually I think about it during the hymn. I'll make them up. Thanks, Paul. My friends, it really has been a joy and a pleasure and an honor, and it has been a wonderful 2 years. So it is with joy in my heart for our time together and sadness that I will not be seeing you more, that I say goodbye. So thank you. All right. Shall we sing our closing hymn, also one of my favorites? Life Calls Us On. The words are up on the screen.
For the blessings we have known.
Friends, for the last time, I will extinguish the chalice, even though it will extinguish many more times in the future. And even though the physical flame has been extinguished, the light, the love, and the hope of this community that flame represents can never be extinguished and will carry on for decades and centuries as it represents this faith, this community of Unitarian Universalism. Let us say our words of benediction. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. Go and be blessed and be a blessing. Amen.